Hello everybody, welcome back to Holmakra, my survival series and episode 4. So, as you can see, I have been extremely busy these last few days. This area in front of me was full of trees, and I've done what I planned on doing, which was clear a good chunk of them. Now this has taken me, no word of a lie, 3 days of my available time to play the game. In total, in this area, I have cleared 417 trees, which was a mammoth task, I must admit. In total, I've cleared, from the start, 627 trees, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, in respect of survival, we're kind of surviving pretty well at the minute. As you can see, I'm technically now a multi-millionaire, just over 2.1, which is pretty crazy, but what I plan on doing is spending most of that. Initially, I'm going to expand the farm. Land-wise, I'm going to buy 3 more plots of land. Hang on, there we go, let's go up, up, and up. There is a plot of land just over there in the distance with no trees on, or just an island of trees in the middle. This one here, I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy this plot of land here. Both plots here do come with sections with trees in, but I'm not planning on cutting the trees down because they are so financially beneficial. I don't want to overdo things, and I think I'll just turn to the trees, as it were, when things are really desperate. There's this area of land here that I plan on purchasing and turning into a field, and I think for now that was it. So yeah, that's the idea. This whole area here is going to be turned into predominantly one big field. There's the last of the trees. I think there's only a couple left on that truck there to take away to be sold. And I'm going to pop down a couple more buildings. What I have popped down there, as you'll see, is a little chicken shed for now. Again, from Mr. Alien Jim. It's part of his animal barn pack. I've not got any chickens yet, obviously, as you can see. And I do plan, at some point, I'm going to buy his cow barn pack, which I plan on popping down somewhere in here. And I do plan on clearing this area as well of trees, but I'm not going to bother doing that right now. If I'm honest, I'm a bit sick of trees. So I'm gonna clear an area here to pop the cow barn down in at some point. And I'm also going to purchase a handful of kit. I'm going to get myself a cultivator, a decent sized one, a roller, a fertilizer spreader, a lime spreader. I'm not going to bother with a combine harvester yet, or a header, because we're a little bit away from even considering needing one of those. I'm going to get myself another big tractor for seeding purposes that comes with a front attachment. I'm considering getting another Fendt to match this one, but a Fendt 1050 with a set of row crops that will cover me for any field work needed, as I do have crop destruction turned on, and a seeder. That's another thing I plan on getting. So, and a trailer, of course, just for bits and bobs potentially. So that's the plan. I'm going to go and essentially purchase all of those bits and bobs now, and I shall join you back again very, very shortly when I've got a bit done. So, see you shortly. Welcome everyone to what I have very imaginatively named Holmakra Farm. So as you can see, we have a couple of buildings placed down now. We have the, quite frankly, beautiful workshop building by Trailer Park Farms here on the left hand side, and one of his dry storage sheds, I think it might be called, on the right here. Both are customizable with the placeable colors mod, and I've tried my very best to get the color as close as possible to the original shed that was here by Alien Jim. So, what we also have is a diesel tank here, obviously for diesel, and part of the animated shed pack over there is these seed, fertilizer and herbicide sheds. This one gives you seed, lime and herbicide, and this one gives you solid and liquid fertilizer. You just essentially pull up next to them and you could refill your tools and equipment, and you pay for what you refill with. So yeah, that's that. I've done, obviously, as you can see, I've done a bit of landscaping just to give us a bit of roadway here, there and everywhere that leads us on to the lane here. I can't actually do anything with this lane. I was part of me was wondering, oh, should I, you know, at least smooth it off and make it not quite as bumpy, but I can't. I've tried ploughing it, I've tried flattening it. You can't do anything with it with the construction menu. It's I think it has to be done through probably through the Giants editor, which is something I've never ever played with, so that will stay as it is. As you can see here, I have bought a field cultivator. This is the latest offering from LR Modding, the Great Plains 8336 FCF field cultivator. It's quite a big one. I think it's 10.2 meters or 10.9 meters in width, so it's quite a big one. But that's going to get used very, very soon. I told you briefly earlier of the chicken shed here, which is part of Alien Jim's Animal Shed Pack. And we have a multi-fruit silo here round the back of this shed, which is I can't actually remember which what this is, who this was made by, forgive me. It's a 2 million litre capacity multi-fruit silo, and I just thought, obviously, with its appearance being what it was, it kind of suits the landscape. Yeah, so tools, equipment, what have I been buying? So we have in here, we have the Coon Cedar and Hopper pack here. This is one of the base game things. Coon, forgive me again, I'm not entirely sure of the model name and number. HR6040 RCS, there it is. So this is just the cedar on its own, and that's the seed hopper. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. We've got the Dalbo PowerRoll 1230 HD roller. We have the Bredel F2 WS4000 lime spreader, and a Cavernaland TLX Geospread fertilizer spreader. And I have also bought this truck and trailer now. This isn't the same one. It's a new one. Because I do have a lot of trees on the property that we now own on this farm, I figured I better just have a timber truck for whenever I need it. So we bought this. This is mine now, the 500 horsepower, and I also gave the trailer a few off-road wheels as opposed to the standard road wheels that were on the one that we rented. So yeah, that's that. And if we pop our heads in here, we shall see a couple of new tractors. So I bought this little Case Maxim with a front loader and a bucket on the front. We also have a weight over that's over there somewhere to stick on the back of this when we shift a few bits and bobs in the bucket, because I primarily picked this up to shift the rocks, actually, because we have another 4 fields to plough under, and I'm assuming all of those are going to produce large rocks. So when that pile round the back of the shed there gets bigger and bigger and bigger, I'm going to need to be able to shift it. So initially that's what this is for, and anything else it needs for. And we also have this beautiful Fendt 1050. Now this is Custom Modding's Fendt 1050. It is a US spec tractor, so technically it's not quite correct for this area of the world, but I don't care, it's a beauty. It's the one that comes with the big floater tyres, but I've stuck it on a set of row crops, so I've got a tractor that's suitable for driving in and out of crops if they're half grown or grown, as I do have crop destruction turned on. Now this is obviously the 1167, we know what that one is, and the plough here, we know what that one is as well, we've seen that before. So yeah, it's becoming a relatively established farm now. What do we need to do first? We need to plough under this bit of land, which will be called Field 2, strangely enough. And so I'm going to get the I'm going to get the 1050 on the plough in this field, and I'm going to get the 1167 with the field cultivator on Field 1, the existing field on the hill there, and get that cultivated under. and get it ready for its first seed. Now, I know I did run the rock picker in this field, and the rock picker does leave the field in a cultivated state, which I don't quite understand, so I'm not going to run with that, and I'm going to actually cultivate it just so that I can say that I've done it correctly. It was ploughed, we ran the rock picker through it, and now it's cultivated, which I don't think that's technically correct, is it? I think it's just a byproduct of the machine itself. So we're going to run the cultivator in that field and run the plough in that field. So let's get to it. These big electrical doors are just wonderful, aren't they? Right. So what's first? Let's jump in this beauty. The 1050, and we're going to get this hooked up to the plough. So let's just spin around here. And get it connected up. Or actually, in fact, no, what I need to do first is I need to create the field, don't I? That's what I've not done. So, back in a couple of minutes, I'll have this field mapped out. Right, that's field 2 mapped out. So let's get this thing thrown in there with the plough and get it ploughed under for the first time. Right, okay. Courseplay course created in this field, so let's set him on his way. And he's off. Great stuff. And yes, as I thought, big rocks. Right, so let's jump into now the 1167 and get that thing running in field 1. There we are. Right, let's go pick up the field cultivator. Hello, what was that? Pop the wheelie then. Right. Down to field 1. I love this view as you come over the hill, and the way the ground just drops away from you. Right. Okay, so I'll set this one up with a course plate. There we go. Courseplay course created here as well in field 1. And let's see how this cultivator performs. But I think it's going to perform just fine, isn't it? And I think this is just me doing this for the sake of doing it, because it didn't seem right that it was the stone picker doing the cultivating. So it does seem to be leaving a slightly different texture on the field. Let's just have a quick look. Very slightly, I'd say, yeah. Right, so we'll let those two crack on, and I shall join you back when they're done. Well, this thing seems to be coping okay with its narrow row crops, even on that hilly area there with the plough behind it, so pretty good so far. Well, as it happens, I'm actually quite glad that I took the decision to run the cultivator in the field, with the field already being technically cultivated according to the map, the PDA. As you can see there, the field we're in, it's solid blue, so it's showed as cultivated. That, again, repeating myself, but that was a result of the stone picker. Running the field cultivator that we're in now, it's leaving it with a seed bed texture, which I believe is better, isn't it? So, yeah, this was time and money well spent, I'd say. So, this one's got a little bit longer to go. This one's got 55 minutes left on it, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get back in this one, and once this one's finished in just another 5 minutes, we're going to run this over to field 3, which is down the road a ways, and get that one ploughed under as well. We may as well keep them working, especially while the 1167 is going to be busy for at least an hour in that field. So yeah. Right, well, here we are, arriving at the new field 3. This pretty sizable area of land here. Now I'm going to keep the island in the middle there with the trees, because there's some quite big boulders in there as well, so it's a bit of a feature. So yeah, I'm gonna leave them in. But obviously I'm going to need to mark out this field as well as a custom field on Courseplay. So I'll get that done, get a course created in Courseplay and get this one running. So I'll see you in a few. Right, okay, as it happens, Courseplay didn't seem to like this area of land when it came to trying to plot out the route after the custom field's been created, so looks like I'm going to have to do this one by hand on my own. So yeah, I will see you in a while when this is done. Getting there slowly, making a good dent in this field now. I've got something to admit to though, I must admit. This is the first time, I think, since Courseplay was released for FS22 that I've actually worked a field by myself in the tractor, controlling the tractor, and not having it run on automation. It's actually quite refreshing, if I'm honest. It's yeah, since Courseplay came out, I'm an avid user of that and auto drive, and combining the two. It's been a long time. But yeah, it's enjoyable, it's refreshing, it's nice, it's relaxing. Right, there we go. The first field I've ploughed by myself, properly, manually, for a very long time. So, yeah, chuffed with that. That'll do. So I think we're going to do this area of land next. This is... oh. This is another little area of land that I bought. Now, again, we do own all those trees over there, but I plan at the minute on just ploughing under this area of clear land outside the trees, obviously. So that's the next one. But I'm just going to check that Courseplay does now recognise this field and can actually plot a course through it. So I'll be back shortly. Right, well, I finally got this one working in this little field here. Had a few issues creating custom fields and getting the course to work within that field without having a few errors along the way. So while we have him working, this one's all done and dusted in field 1, and I think I need to lease that stone picker again, don't I, and get it into each of the new fields that we're creating as we go. So far we've got fields 2, fields 3, and in the middle of creating field 4. But look at that, beautiful seed bed. So the next thing to do is get some seed in there, and the window of opportunity we have ahead of us is narrowing somewhat. We have a no, wrong menu. If we have a look in, where am I going? Here. Right, we're in April, so at the minute we're running 2-day seasons at the minute, so we can plant oat, corn, sunflowers, soybeans, potatoes, sugar beet, sugar cane, sorghum and grapes. Okay, so we're all right at the minute, and in May next month we have the ability to plant corn and soybeans, but we don't have a planter, we've just got a seeder. So what I think I might do is I think I'm going to put soybeans into field 1 here. Fill that with soybeans and get a good yield and amount of money back from that in come harvest time. Now, as you see, obviously we've got the chicken barn, but we haven't got any chickens yet. But in order to feed the chickens, I need some wheat. So I think what I might do is in field 4, where the 1050 is at the minute, this one, I think I'm going to make this the wheat field, and this will be entirely responsible for feeding the chickens. I think that's the idea. There should be enough in here to see the chickens through for a wee while, so I might have to buy the chickens a bag or two to keep them going until this harvest yields, but I've got to buy the chickens first as well, haven't I? So yeah, I'm just thinking on my feet here. So yeah, I think this will be the wheat field. And field 2 here, I do plan on getting some cows, as I think I may have mentioned, and I'm going to use the cow barn from Alien Jim's Animal Barn pack, and I plan on popping that down somewhere over here on this side of the road. So to keep the cows fed, or to at least maintain the cows, I need a grass field. So I think this will be my grass field for now. That's the idea. So again, I can plant the grass with the seeder that we have in the shed over here. But the first thing we need to do is go and lease the stone picker again. We need to get the fields sorted before we can start seeding. And I can't seed with this tractor because it doesn't have the front mount. The only tractor I have at the minute that is capable of seeding and having the power and weight is the 1050, which is busy in the field with the plough at the minute, as we know. So I'm going to send this beautiful little thing down to the shop. It's got a great sound to it as well, this thing, hasn't it? 6-cylinder, this tractor, I think. Right, so yeah, let's send this one down to the store, pick up the stone picker and get back into field 2. Right, here comes the case with the stone picker. I'm just putting my newly set up auto drive course to the test here. I mean, it was always going to work, but it's just nice to see it in action, isn't it? There we go. Lovely stuff. Right, so I'm going to get a course play set up for this wee beastie and get the stones picked up and go from there. Right, that's that one sorted. For now anyway, because I'll have to manually keep my eye on that one and tip the contents of the stone picker when it's full into the little pile that is behind the original little shed there. And that's going to get considerably bigger, although I might have to make a couple of piles around the place because I'm not going to, for example, when I'm picking the stones out of what is now field 3, the big one that I've just done by myself, I'm not going to come back here every time that's full. I'll just make a pile over there and use the bucket on the front of the case to load it into a trailer when needed, so, and then bring it back over here and tip it into the pile there. So right, anyway, so he's off working in there picking up the stones. Let's flick through them. He's working there. This one's done here in field 4. This has been ploughed under, so this is ready for a rock picking, as is that one over there. Now I think what I might do, I do have one more field to plough under, but I'm not gonna, and that's the quite big one that's going to be field 5, and I'm not going to do that right yet. I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna get this thing hooked up with a seeder and get some seed into field 1. So let's just bring up the menus and send it back home. Holmakra farm. Boom, off you go. Lovely. Right, so we can go back here now. You're not going to be needed until this field has been picked. Yeah, so there's kind of a nice order to things now, isn't there? So the field gets ploughed under, then it gets stone picked, then it gets cultivated and given a nice seed bed, and then it's time for seed. So yeah, let's wait for the 1050 to come home, get that swapped over, get the seeder fitted to that and loaded up with seed. In fact, how much money have we got left actually? 5,696 euros left. And we're going to have to buy the seed. The Kuhn seed hopper takes 1,500 litres. And I've got a funny feeling that this field here is going to take considerably more than 1,500 litres, so I may have to consider chopping down a couple of trees and going and flogging them just to make a few more euros to sustain the seed cost of this field. So we shall see. We'll play that one by ear. We'll see how far one... oh, hang on a minute. No. I suppose I should get lime in this field first, shouldn't I? And that's even more expensive. Right, okay. Yeah. That might have to be the case, mightn't it? I might have to chop some trees down and go and make a quick few euros to sustain all this. Right, here we are. We have cleared a few of the trees from where I plan on popping down the cow barn eventually. Just under 33, that'll do. That's not bad. So we'll send this back home. Back to the farm. Off you go there. And we've dumped a pile of stones there out of field 2. And I think now, before we get this one back up and running, we shall jump in this and get the lime spreading started in field 1. So let's hopefully, if we just pull up here and what's the button to open it up? There we go. There we are. Fill. See how much one tank of this costs. Right, 719 euros per tank per fill, so that's not too bad, but it's how thirsty this field is going to be. In my experience of a brand new field tells me this is going to take an enormous amount of time, an enormous amount of hoppers full of lime. So I'm going to get a course sorted in here as per, and I'll pick it back up in a few. Right, so we've got this one up and running. I've got a course play course set for this field, and what I have also done is set auto drive there on the right to, hopefully, if this works, it will run this in the field. When it runs out, it'll make its way to the seed, lime and herbicide shed and fill itself up and return itself to the field and carry on where it left off. Technically, that should work. And it's, yeah, it's drinking it a bit, but it only says it's going to take 16 minutes to complete this field, because it does have a good spread on it, this machine, 42 meters. So we shall let that one crack on, and hopefully it should get the whole field done by itself. Right, well, here's the magic in action, hopefully. If I've set this right, this 1050 should trundle its way around here to this shed. Come on. Yep, they've opened the hopper. If I pop the menu on, there we go. We can see the money popping down. And it's filling up. Excellent. See why I love the automation side of this game, it's just brilliant. It should fill up completely and it'll make its way around the shed here, the big one, and hopefully pop out the other side and get back into the field and crack on. Come on. Here we go, turn left, turn left, turn left. Yes. Good stuff, right. At least I know that works. Right, just sending that one off for the last batch of trees there to sell. There's a couple more logs in the field, in the area here, but I'm not going to bother sending them till we've got another full load. I'm just going to leave it at that for now, so I reckon we'll be knocking on the door of 36, 40, maybe late 50s, early 60,000 euros, I reckon. But one thing I have noticed is that each hopper fill of lime is costing 719 euros, which seems pretty cheap to me. I haven't done anything to alter any XML files or anything like that. I just hadn't appreciated that maybe this one does offer a discount, perhaps, which I'm not going to complain about. 719 euros per 1,500 litres of lime will suit me fine, but for some reason in my mind it rings true that it should cost a bit more than that, but hey ho, it is what it is. Where's it up to? Somewhere down there, I think, right. Well, let's let that crack on anyway. We'll go see how the stone picker's doing. Keep on top of that one, because I keep on having to manually empty that. Obviously, it just, when it gets full, it stops in the field and waits for my my input. So we'll go and see how that's doing. No, he's still going. 57% full. So we'll let him crack on. I'm not sure he'll get the rest of this field in one go, but he's almost done. How long's he got left? Let's have a look. 9 minutes. Oh, okay. Not so bad. Right, here we go. The last sale of wood for the day, for definite. 30,367 euros. So we're at 64. Just under 64,500. That'll do. I'm pretty sure that should cover us for all of the seeding and lime needs, for definite. So let's hop back over here. Let's see how the rock pick is getting on. Oh, he's still going. He can't be far off now, surely. Needing a bit of input from me. 81%. Right, okay. Well, the course playing auto drive combination is working a treat. As you can see, it's just made its way back to where it left off, and just off it goes. But I've been very keen to see how this row crop tired fence deals with this ridiculous hill, and it seems to be okay. It is a hill though, isn't it? It's ridiculous, but it's coping. And the field isn't quite as thirsty as I thought it would be. It is very thirsty, but it's not reducing as fast as I thought it would. Let's just put it that way. And here's the really steep bit. And it seems to be doing okay. It is a powerful thing. I think it is. It's definitely north of 500 horsepower, so awesome. Right, just stuck that back in here for now. There are a couple of logs over on the land over there, but I'm going to leave them there because, quick tip for anyone, if you didn't already know this, whatever you do, don't leave logs on a timber trailer if you're planning on saving and exiting the game at any point in the future. Because when you come back into the game, the thing just explodes everywhere, and the game can't seem to deal with understanding that there's logs on a timber trailer that want to be left there until it gets taken to be sold. Every time I've done that, I've made the mistake of sending the truck full of logs via auto drive to the sell point, and then I've had to save and exit out the game for any particular reason, and I've come back to find the truck lying on its side, still got the logs. On one or two occasions it still had some of the logs in its cradle here, but most of them had just exploded everywhere and were all over the road, and the truck was having a bit of a fit just lying on the floor. So yeah, tip, don't leave logs on the trailer. So how are we doing? I think I've just seen and heard the 1050 coming back for another load of lime. The stone picker should be finished, I think. Where is it? There we are. Finished. Yes, brilliant. Right, so we'll get this one sent over to field 3 and get that started there. Right, now the rock picker is done in field 2. We'll get this thing in there and get it properly cultivated and leave a nice seed bed down. And yeah, the rock picker's on its way to field 3, and this one will follow suit when it's done here. So, as per usual, get a course play set up. There we go. Set up and off he goes. And this has only got just under 17 minutes, so that's not so bad. It is a big cultivator. It's 10.9 metres. I think I might have said 10.2, didn't I, earlier on? Yeah, 10.9 metres work width. Awesome. Right. That's the rock picker going in field 3 now. Working away. And they're all massive rocks, aren't they? Let's have a quick look. 1 hour 38, yeah, so we've got a bit of time with this one. So I'll let this one run its course. I'm going to have to keep intervening every now and again to empty it manually, go and make a pile somewhere on the edge of the field. But where I think I might call it a day for this episode here, with this one having a bit of time ahead of it. So we shall pick the next episode up almost where we've left off here. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate all your time spent watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.